Good evening everybody, today we're crawling right back into Buckethead's Pike album series with Pike 76, Caterpillar. So, let's begin. Woo! The physical CD of Pike 76 was released September 23rd, 2014 and was one of only a handful of Pikes that year that, for some unknown reason, took over a year and a half to be released in digital format, arriving in March 2016, whereupon it dropped with alternate album covers, the Buckethead Pike site cover and the Buckethead Bandcamp cover, making it one of the few Pikes in the series with alternate covers. And if that's not confusing enough, that same month Pike 227 dropped with the exact same cover. Oops. The 8-track album kicks off with track 1, Reprint, some cool rock riffage that sets the tone nicely for the rest of the album. Even though it might not reach its full potential, it's an enjoyable opener. At just over 6 minutes, track 2 Fountain is the album's longest track and again leads with slow rock riffage. The song picks up and finds its groove towards the latter part of the track and, though more enjoyable than track 1, still doesn't quite reach its full potential. Track 3 Hot Wheels continues where track 2 left off, and because of the similar format of slow rock and plodding drums, it might make you wish that it would have picked up the tempo by now. Again, it's enjoyable but lacks that foot stomping beat that it's so close to having. Track 4, the album title Caterpillar, is next and is thankfully more up-tempo. The drums on this one are far more complementary and help the track, and the composition is far more enjoyable than the previous songs. Whereas the previous tracks could have done with a shorter runtime, this one could have easily gone longer, but ends at just over 3 minutes. Still, it's the album's best track so far. Track 5, Mr. Toad's Wait Time, is next, which is more than likely named after the Disney ride and is the album's shortest track at just over 1 minute in length. Personally, I find its length bizarre considering that the riffs played are as good as anything played on the first 3 tracks, but then ends before it ever gets going. It's not a transitional song or skit that Buckethead often throws onto albums, it's just bizarrely short. Next up is track 6, Ring, and similar to track 4, Caterpillar, the drums and tempo make it a more enjoyable listen than earlier tracks. But unfortunately, like the earlier tracks, it doesn't quite reach its full potential. Still, behind Caterpillar, it's the album's second best song so far. Track 7, Dream Machine, comes next, and immediately the opening riff hooks you in, but unfortunately it doesn't stick with it for too long, and before you know it, at just under 2 minutes, the track ends abruptly. Like track 5, Mr. Toad's Wait Time, this one seemed to have far more potential than the first 3 tracks, but ends way too soon before the song can ever find its footing. album ends with its second longest track, Skizzy's Hot Rod. And from the first few bars you breathe a sigh of relief, as this is the type of up-tempo beat and riffage we've been waiting for since the beginning. Easily the album's best track with an obvious AC/DC Angus Young style influence. Glorious foot-stomping rock, finally. Overall, Pike 76 was an album that was full of potential but didn't quite reach it. Some guitar solos certainly would have helped, but the album doesn't have any. And after a while, its slow plodding rock soon becomes much of a muchness. I can definitely see why some people will enjoy this far more than I do, but with the exception of the final track, it didn't quite get me going enough or get my foot stomping like it was intended to do, or like the final track did. After adding up the rating I gave for each track, it came to 56%, which I categorize as average, which feels about right. You can find my individual song ratings and breakdown on our website, natanet.com. So what's your rating for Pike 76? To work out what percentage you give the album, rate each song out of 5 stars, add up your total and divide it by the total score possible, which for Pike 76 is 40. Then times it by 100. So does Buckethead's caterpillar become a butterfly? What do you think?